You know that thing that happens when you say a word so often it starts to lose meaning? This is Still Life with. God. It's day 6, y'all. Happy day 6. Hope you're still among the living. If you're not, you're probably not listening. If you are a zombie and listening, on behalf of humanity, stop it. Armed forces were pulled out of NYC today, leaving state and local forces in charge. The reason for this is that there have been reports of zombie sightings in Jersey and Connecticut. Apparently, there's a plan in the works, but it's super secret. I have a few guesses as to what that may be, but there's more than enough speculation happening right now, so I don't feel like adding to that pile of chaos. But I will say that since we're at the epicenter, then maybe keep them around for a few more days. I mean, this is like really immediate. Those guys know how to leave an area efficiently. Now, because of this, the NYPD is being tasked to take a more hardline approach, a more offensive approach, and I can see this getting out of hand pretty quickly. But what are we supposed to do? I'm asking because I really don't know. It seems like when you have something like this, then it needs to be dealt with before it gets out of hand or more out of hand. And when I say that, I mean that it isn't just about cops who, let's be honest, haven't had a very good track record as of, let's say, ever. But because the army is being evacuated to do other things, the mayor is calling for law-abiding citizens, meaning those with guns, to enlist as a special citizen-based task force to assist local authorities in, quote, containing the threat, end quote. Where I think what they mean to say is, kill some zombies, brah. So if you have a gun and can manage to make it to a post office near you, because those buildings need to be used for something if they're not delivering mail, then come on down and do that thing you only do to cans and deer and video game zombies if you indeed play The Last of Us. I have not played it. I don't know if there's a name for it. I can't play a game in which I have to be a character that can be killed. I don't know what that is. Maybe I just become too emotionally invested, even though I know it's just a game. I just can't separate myself from that, so mainly I will play Madden or NHL. Go Red Wings. So yeah, people, citizens are being enlisted, so buckle up, YouTube. You're about to get an influx of videos showing people shooting things that used to be considered human in the face, and then whooping and hollering about it. You know it's going to happen. It's pretty much standard reaction. Blow something up for likes. Or, gender reveal parties when things are also blown up. Boom, it's a boy. Oh shit, the forest is on fire. But it's a boy. Today I got so friggin' bored that I wasted 3 hours tossing playing cards into a hat. Stay tuned for results. That being said, I have absolutely no right to complain about boredom. I know the situation. Now, full disclosure, I am not necessarily a social creature. I am what one might refer to as an introvert. It may be because I'm an only child. I don't want to make this discussion about what caused me to be like this as if it's a disease, because it's not. I do hang out with people on occasion. I just don't need to. It may take me a few drinks before I start wanting to talk in a bar in which I have to use a lot of energy just to be heard because that music is pumping, but I do occasionally congregate. That being said, I have many friends and ex-girlfriends who fall on the opposite side of that spectrum. Again, I don't want to get deep into the whys about all that, but I do want to take a moment to address my friends and any of you who are listening who are social butterflies, extroverts, who now find themselves trapped in their apartments, many of which, at least people I know, have studio apartments, which basically means unless you go to the bathroom, then there's no real change of scenery. I know that people I've been in contact were okay for 2 days. Right now, they're losing their minds and wanting to hang out with absolutely anyone that does not live in their studio apartment with them. Hulu and puzzles can only do so much. And that's no judgment. I get it. From a completely empathetic standpoint, if not philosophically, because philosophically, all I can do is point out the alternative, and I just won the argument. So stay inside and stop whining about it. Just do your bit and consider that what you're sacrificing may do some good, like not turning you into something that will eat your boyfriend in a non-consensual way. Now's the time to hunker down and forget all those things you had scribbled into your planner. All right, I'm a little on edge, right? I saw my first zombie yesterday, not a video. If you heard the last episode, you may have heard me expel a sigh of regret that I had no mayonnaise, because tuna without mayonnaise is cat food, that whole thing. I regret my choices in life sometimes. I'm not even a fan of mayonnaise. I pretty much only use it in tuna because it makes it more like human food. I don't use it on anything because it's gross. It looks gross, smells gross. I've had it on a sandwich before on accident, and it was gross. I ate it because I paid for it. I forgot to say no mayonnaise, but I didn't enjoy it, and I ate it anyway because I was hungry, and I have a problem sending things back, even if they're gross. That's something I have to work on, I guess. Doesn't seem like something that I need to work on right now, but I do have my mayonnaise because the bodega closest to my apartment is still open. The owner pointed a gun at me when I opened the door, to which I loudly proclaimed, "Hi, I'm not a zombie," and he apologized, and that was nice of him. I also managed to score some yogurt, which he sells. He does that thing where he takes Activa comes in packs of 4, but he splits them into individual yogurts and sells them like that. And I have no idea if he's gaining a profit with that move or if he thinks that people really just want one yogurt at a time or whatever. But I got some. And some boxes of cereal. Anyway, this is all prologue. I just thought I'd just tell you about my day. So when I walked outside of the bodega, I saw one person out, walking down the street, in the middle of the street where ordinarily traffic would be. And at first I think, there's somebody out like I'm out, perhaps also on the hunt for mayonnaise. Then I caught sight of how she was moving. It was a woman, and I felt just cold, just a shock, just go up my back. So I turned to get a better look, which is, it made me understand more of why horror movies have people who stay in a house that is actively trying to kill them instead of, taking off, because I think the part of my brain that fights or flights took a back seat to my need to understand or believe or analyze or I don't want to say curiosity, because that sounds like I have no curiosity about all this. I just want it to not be a thing, but it was a safe distance away. It wasn't like, hey, you're in my personal space, back up. It was like maybe half a block away, far enough away to where I felt like I could look and not really thinking what I should have been thinking. Are there more around, and am I in the line of fire or whatever? Now, there was this inner monologue happening in my brain because one half was like, that's a zombie. And the other was like, it could be a homeless person. Then, when I saw her hand fall off, both sides of my brain agreed to walk away. And I got home without further incident with my mayonnaise and my yogurt and the cereal. I think that may be why I spent 3 hours tossing cards into a hat earlier. I just needed something to do that made my brain focus on something, or something mindless to do. I'm not a doctor. I called 911 after I saw the thing. I was put on hold, hung up before I got an answer. I'm sure they're pretty busy, so that makes sense. I think I expected some sort of, if you're calling about the outbreak message with instructions instructing me to do the thing I've been doing the whole time, maybe they haven't had the time to get to that yet. The government is still classifying, they're still saying it's a flu strain. And aside from that, there's talk of a stimulus check being mailed out to those in affected areas who haven't lost their jobs because they work at Kmart, Starbucks. Starbucks is still open, or rather, many of their locations are still open. Some have closed. Like if there's a Starbucks on one corner of a block, then there's no reason for the Starbucks at the other end of the block to stay open. They're just moving employees to other locations and in discussions about how to safely deliver expensive coffee to patrons. I'm sure they'll think of something. You can't charge that much for coffee that people are willing to purchase anyway without having some extra smart people sailing that ship. I don't drink coffee, by the way. Never had coffee. I'm not a hot beverage fan or a fan of a beverage that is iced because someone thought it would be cool to have a once exclusively hot beverage be not hot because of ice. I don't drink fancy things. Not a fan. I like water, cold water, and beer and wine. Wine's not fancy. It's just somewhere between beer and whiskey. It's like sour juice. I don't know where I'm going with all this. 15. That's the number of cards I managed to land in the hat. It's less impressive when you say that it took 3 hours to get to that number. Hey, I figure I have time to practice. Thanks for listening. This is Tad Stitchman, wondering how many more zombies will follow after the one I saw, and hoping for the best. Like, share, and don't die.